When the 67 senators took oath of office, it did not dawn on them that their first weeks in office will be spent justifying their roles and functions in the bicameral parliament and the county governments. The National Assembly was the first to engage them in a bare-knuckle fight on which house was superior, with the Senate remaining convinced it was entitled to the tag, the upper house, since the jurisdiction spread across several constituencies as opposed to members of parliament.
For example, Busia County, no member of parliament received more votes than myself. I got a totality of all their votes. Therefore, when it comes to the power, the sovereign power of the people, I am the bearer.
The Senate is the upper house. We are no longer mere sharing ground for anybody.
Claims dismissed by the National Assembly, which queried their exact place in government operations.
The Senate, Mr. Speaker, with your due respect and with your humility, the House called the Senate was meant in my interpretation, and that is mine, Mr. Speaker, to be a house for the retirees.
According to them, the functions of the Senate were restricted to Schedule 4 under Article 96, which, if summarized, would include to represent and protect interests of the counties and their governments, debating and approving bills concerning counties provided for in Articles 109 to 113, determine allocation and exercise oversight of national revenue among counties. This is under Article 217, and lastly, oversight of state officers by determining any resolution to remove the President or his deputy from office under Article 145.
Article 96 just gives the Senate 3 roles, but nothing else. Nothing else in the Constitution.
However, the Senate has taken exception to this confinement of its functions.
I noticed that there was confusion at the Law House when they were talking about Parliament. When they read the Constitution where it is written Parliament, Madam Speaker, they think Parliament is National Assembly.
With the possibility of the bill being lost in the process.
The first real acrimony between the two houses emerged during debate on the Division of Revenue Bill, now an act, after the National Assembly sidelined the Senate in the passage of the bill, declaring it was not within its mandate, despite initially inviting them to look at it. The matter ended up at the Supreme Court, whose hearing begins Tuesday and whose outcome is expected to offer clear direction on the role of the Senate in financial matters that affect the two levels of government. But even before the dust settles, a new war front was opened this week when the Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, dismissed concerns by the Speaker of the Senate of a failure to consult him before the introduction of 8 bills in the National Assembly, some of which have an effect on county operations.
The question is really whether we have a bicameral parliament or not. Whether the constitutional provisions in relation to the chapter on the legislature are worth the paper on which they are written.
According to him, the National Assembly is only obliged to consult the Senate on bills that concern counties as listed under the 4th schedule of the Constitution.
Examples of these functions include pre-primary education, village polytechnics, home craft centers, and child care facilities, firefighting services, animal control and welfare, including licensing of dogs and facilities for the accommodation, care and burial of animals, amongst others.
But it is not only the National Assembly the Senate has to worry about. It is also faced with the resistance of some level at the county governments, with allegations of rivalry between governors and senators in some regions. The Senate has since championed for more teeth to oversight county governments' budgets amid concerns over extravagant budgets.
Sasa tumeamua na ninaleta makaratasi kwenu mujase saini milioni 1 na sehemu nyingine namna hiyo, tubadilishe katiba ipatie kina Mudhama uwezo wa kusema pesa yenu itumike namna hii.
The national government, on its part, has to deal with Senate's skepticism on its commitment to implementing devolution, especially following the enactment of the Division of Revenue Bill, while ignoring its concerns.